Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the live event today. I am Dr. Maria Sampoulos, your host. I have the pleasure of having Fakhruddin Barodawala with us today. Thank you for joining us. Please pronounce your name correctly. I'm so sorry.
I think you did absolutely justice, I would say. It's Fakhruddin Barodawala, and I think you can address me as FB, which I think most of the colleagues know me around. So FB should be good. Thanks.
Oh, great. That's going to be easy for me today. FB is easy. So, um, FB is an Indian optometrist currently working as a lecturer at Segi University in Malaysia. He completed his graduation and post-graduation optometry at Lotus College of Optometry in India, and he went on to pursue interest in academia and research. He has got fellowships in the Association of College of Optometry in India as subjects dispensing optics, International Association of Contact Lens Educators, American Academy of Optometry, British Contact Lens Association. He's also a member of the board of AICLE. He's got a lot of different interests, contact lenses, dispensing optics, and low vision. And I think his claim to fame recently over the last couple of years has been his online learning platform known as Online Optometry Learning Series, which conducts webinars and provides courses for students and practitioners worldwide. And he's conducted about 175 webinars. I think it's pretty well known over the years. So congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much. It's a team effort, and thank you for having me.
No, it's great to be able to connect optometrists all over the world, and just the idea to do that. And the content is good quality content. I've attended some events, and it's great content and just good to get different views all over the country, and all over the world. So I wanted to talk about optometry in Malaysia today, and I think it's great for optometrists to learn from each other and see what's going on in different parts of the world, and how we can help each other grow for scope and things like that. So give us a little bit of background what the state of optometry in Malaysia is like.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, first of all. And just before I answer your question, I would say that you were also a part of our series where you did a session for us about medical optometry, and it was, well accepted. So those who have not watched it, I would like to encourage them to go and watch it onto our YouTube channel as well. And thank you for inviting me and doing these series. I have been watching across on your LinkedIn and Facebook groups where you are interviewing optometrists, and we learn a lot by knowing about optometry globally. The question was optometry in Malaysia. So I'm going to talk about my experience here in Malaysia for the past over 7 years. I came here as an academician, and I'm continuing to do my academic job at Segi University. Optometry in Malaysia is a licensed profession. It's regulated by the Malaysian Optical Council, and optometrists get registered with the Malaysian Optical Council and renew their annual practicing license every year. And not only optometrists, but opticians are also registered under the MOC. So it's kind of a well-regulated profession, I would say, compared to the other parts in Asia. And it is well regulated by the governing body.
Excellent. What do most optometrists do once they graduate in Malaysia?
So once optometry is a 4 years degree program. Once optometrists graduate, many of them work for corporate settings or optical outlet primary eye care clinics. I would say approximately 70% of them. A couple of them do undergo clinical trainings as well. Some of them do clinical fellowships. Many of them also join into hospital or private ophthalmology clinic. And handful of them also undergo further training, such as doing their masters and PhD. So that's how the scenario of graduates is in Malaysia.
What is the scope like in practice? I know when I was interviewing someone in India, there was tiers. It was like refracting optometrist, regular optometrist. Like, is that the same thing in Malaysia? Are optometrists able to do a lot more than India? I know in the US, a lot of us can prescribe testing and prescribe medication. What does that look like in Malaysia?
So, according to my experience and what my students have got into the field and into the market, many of them start working in an outlet or a primary eye care setting where they do a lot more than just refraction. So, ocular health examination is basically an integral part of an optometric eye evaluation, right? So, most of them, I think, does a thorough comprehensive eye examination, which includes ocular health examination, intraocular pressure, posterior segment assessment as well. So all I would say it depends on where do you practice. It depends on the place and what access to the instrumentation you have. But I'm happy to say that many of them do primary eye care rather than just doing refractions into their
Awesome.
practices.
That's great. So what is this current state? Is there a lot of private practices? Is it more corporate practices? How does it work? Do you know the percentage there?
I would say it's very well balanced in terms of corporate practice and private practices. A lot of them do open up their own clinical practice as well. There are only 6 schools of optometry in the country, so that's something which is remarkable as well. And to my understanding, most of the graduates uh, are having either a family history of opticianry or optometrist. So those will go into their own practices and start developing the practice. Some of them were opticians, their parents, their grandparents were opticians. But once they graduate from optometry school, I have seen them going into the field and developing their practice into an optometry clinic. So that's something which most of them do as well. And corporate settings is also there. There are many chain retail optical practices here in Malaysia which do hire optometrists, and many of them again are primary eye care oriented as well.
Yeah. Can you give us some names? Like what's the bigger chains there? Just to get an understanding.
Focus Point Group is there, MOG Group, and a lot more are there actually. But I think these two are the very famous ones, and they are widely spread across the country in different states and at different locations as well.
Now, the corporate opticals in Malaysia, they hire optometrists. Not like it's here in the US where a doctor can rent space and just do their own exam, their own business. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
Okay, so that's what the consensus has been all over the world that corporate optometry in other countries, they're just employees of the corporation. So I think something for the listeners to know as these companies make decisions and try to move to the US, if that model's working well there, they might want to do the model here. So another reason for us to, be active in our profession. And, if you want to be employed, great. If you want to be self-employed, then it might be the option for you here in the US to really be involved and try to, keep it self-employed. What about hospital optometry in Malaysia? What is that working with an ophthalmologist? How does that work?
Yes, it does work together. Optometrists in the government settings or in hospital settings, in the government sectors, they work very closely with the ophthalmologists, and they do provide primary eye care. They do perform slit lamp examination before the ophthalmologist sees them. And of course, there are referral systems placed as well, because there are some centers which probably do not have specialty contact lenses at this point of time. So the ophthalmologists or the optometrists do cross referral system, so that we do get patients into our university clinic, which are referred from outside, where our students are actually working now, and probably they have limited access to certain facilities. They do refer back to us for doing that, and we do refer patients for ophthalmology as well.
Now, just give me some insight. I know you did a fellowship on dispensing optics. How is that different than here in the U.S.? That people graduate and then they go do specialties things. So, what does that provide for you, the specialty or the fellowship, and additional in your career?
So the fellowship which we are talking about is provided by the Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry India, which is ASCO India. They have a structured program. So after you do your degree, if you want to do an additional fellowship, you can do it while you are working. It's a structured program where you undertake some case studies, you present some latest topics. There are classes online. Now it's easy that you have online classes. You have a Skype call with your mentor, discuss, and you learn along. So it's a 1 year, 1.5 year process where you have certain criteria to be fulfilled. And once you achieve that, you have a final exam, which is an external person coming in and doing a viva as well as a written exam. And once you are done through it, you achieve your fellowship status.
Excellent, excellent. And how many? Do you know how many currently there are optometrists in Malaysia? Do you have an idea of that, or?
There are more than 2,000 registered optometrists by the Malaysian Optical Council, if my numbers are correct. And every year, I think there are over 300 optometrists graduating from the 6 different schools of optometry in the country. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. But here in the U.S., I think we have like 40,000 optometrists. And I want to say, don't quote me exactly, I want to say there's at least 1,700, 2,000 that graduate every year. There's still a need here in the U.S. right now for optometry. It's one of the big pain points for a lot of practices is trying to find doctors. I've been working right now 6 days a week. You can't find a doctor for the multiple practices. And there, but it's good that optometry, there's a need, right? There were primary care, it's expanding. I know in Malaysia, like optometry kind of changed in the 90s. Has there been any other progress in scope or legislation over the years, or has it kind of just stopped at that?
There has been a constant progress, I would say, and I have been hearing that there has some thoughts on amending the Optical Act, which was in 1991. So I'm hoping it will be coming up in the next couple of years, where there will be more freedom, I would say, in terms of therapeutics as well as diagnostic drugs, which an optometrist can use in his clinical practice. So I've been hearing some news about it, but there's nothing concrete at this point of time. But it's under its phase of amendment, and I think that would be great for optometry within the country as well.
Yeah, I think it's important. These webinar series for optometry worldwide is to kind of educate the doctors here of what's really going on all over the world and how lucky we are to have everything we have for scope. And it took years, right? Past optometrists doing all the work and people that are retired now to be able for us to, put a dilating drop in, to give Tobradex, to the basic things that we take for granted now. And I think it's good for all of us to come together to say, hey, we do this, we have this education. Why not try to help doctors in Malaysia, India, UK to expand scope too? Because it's just better for the patients. And my understanding was when I talked to someone, I did a video for the UK, there wasn't a lot of ophthalmologists in the UK, but in Greece there was a lot. And that's why I guess there's a lot of optometrists in the UK, and in Greece there was less. Do you know how many optometrists to ophthalmologist ratio is in Malaysia, or no?
I'm not quite sure of the numbers, but the need of optometrists is there. That's what I can tell you. I'm not sure about the number of ophthalmologists at this point of time. Probably I'll just dig that up and get back to you.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just good. No, I think that ratio plays into a lot of optometry expansion in a lot of countries too. So that's important. And also, I think for corporate opticals to make decisions to want to do that as well. I think that's why, because it's higher in Greece, ophthalmology, that optometry, there wasn't a lot of optometrists, but even so, not a lot of corporate opticals because the ophthalmology is strong. But hopefully we can all work together and find ways to expand scope, expand optometry, have it grow, because I think it's a great profession. I think there's I think we do a lot of great service for our patients and our community, and it's something that we make a big difference in a lot of people's lives.
Yes, I absolutely agree to that. I think it's a noble profession, and providing sight to people by various methods, what we incorporate: refractive corrections, contact lenses, low vision aids, vision therapy, and the list can go on and on, right? And all of this can be done by an optometrist with the support of ophthalmology again, and that's how is the way forward.
Sure. let me just go into one thing so everyone knows. Your online optometry learning series. What started that? What came about that? How have you grown it? This
It
was during
was
COVID.
just it's a COVID baby. People do tell me that is it a COVID baby, and I have taken up that now that it is a COVID baby. There were a lot of plans prior to COVID discussing with me and my optometry brother. My younger brother is also an optometrist. So we wanted to do something for the community, and we were thinking, okay, we'll run some lecture series where he is more into editing and all of that, and I'm more into academics. So we decided, okay, we'll run some lectures. I would record it and put it up online, and we will do that. And time was something which was not there, so we just got delayed. And when COVID came, within the first initial month, we had a couple of time to think, and we reached out to our colleagues, our friends, and asked them would they be able to do some sessions. And that's how it started. And slowly, steadily, we started to approach people globally. We started with our small community of friends first. It started with a small Instagram post on my personal social media Instagram channel, asking that would you be interested to attend some online education, and we got numerous response. The team grew in. Now we are a people of 5 team members who takes care of doing all of this, and we have been very, very fortunate to the optometry community. I would say everybody who we have approached that would you be able to share your expertise, and we were very lucky and happy that everybody came on board with us, and that's how we could be able to do 175 online webinar sessions. And we are still going on with 2 to 3 sessions a month now. And we have some plans for the future by running some courses which leads to fellowship. One of it we just recently finished. We did combine or collaborated with the Scleral Lens Education Society.
Oh, very
And
nice.
yes, we ran a course of across 11 sessions from basic to advanced scleral lenses. And I would acknowledge the efforts of Dr. Dadi Fadel and Dr. Maria Walker, uh, who created this course for optometrists to gain 20 credit points on successful completion towards their fellowship of the Scleral Lens Education Society. And this
Daddy is
was,
going to be on another podcast very soon. So she is an amazing woman. She is global woman, and all the efforts that she does with optometry and contact lenses, but also with her new program Glow to help women
yes,
globally. But this your platform was a COVID baby. I remember it coming out, and it was great to get people on your platform that maybe might not have access to do all the other stuff in the past, but it also gives different perspectives on things. And it's quality content, and we're getting insights from doctors or optometrists all over the world on myopia
yeah,
management, sclerals, whatever the case is, which is great because, I think optometrists that might not have certain scope of practice, they're still getting good education, maybe from doctors here in the US on retina or whatever the case is. And it really brings optometry together, and it elevates us, right? The more education, the better we are for our patients. So I
that's
applaud
right.
you and your brother doing all the hard work with the editing. And that's tough. That's tough.
That is,
And
yeah.
for being a tech guy who's really an optometrist. So
That's right. And all my other 3 team members, we do share jobs and tasks to perform. So everybody had its own role to play, and everything is done out of the love for profession. Until now, we don't have any financial gains or interests. I just wanted to mention this for the listeners that this is just for out of love for optometry. And if you love the profession, I think you can do wonders.
that's right. And I have to applaud you guys for that too. I mean, if there is something you guys can do because of your time and things like that, but sometimes, unfortunately, people do that for the wrong reasons, for financial, and then if they don't get it, they stop. But at 175 webinars, it is for the prop thing. So people will tell me, I'm doing something like this today, Optometry Malaysia. There's no financial, right? It's
That's
more to
right.
kind of just bring it, elevate our profession, expand it, because I think it's important. I mean, because I think optometry in the U.S., I think we're very fortunate of what scope and what we can do. But I also think we should be wary because we don't know what could happen. Things can change, and especially with online refractions and things like that. So I think these educational series are super important. But it's also to highlight people all over the world, optometry leaders all over the world, who sometimes don't have that platform, that spotlight. You have the platform. Daddy has spotlight, but there's some other doctors out there that might not. So it's great to highlight these people.
Yes.
And have other doctors know who they are. Maybe reach out and just chat. We did I introduced someone in Vietnam, and she wanted her husband to go there on the summertime to do some work. So it was great to connect those two people, just to have that. And for me, I was like, I'm Greek, so I'm like, I want to learn optometry in Greece, but I want to be optometry in Greece from like June to August. So, and then hey, let's do it at Mykonos or Santorini or something. But that's not how it really happens. But it's good to just learn, meet new people all over the world and just find new optometry friends.
Exactly right. And it's much easier now when we go travel for conferences. At each conference, we'll meet somebody who we know, right? Rather than meeting the same people, we'll meet somebody who we met online, and now we'll be meeting them in person. So that's something. And our optometry community is, I think, very small and very, very friendly. Everybody is friends with each other and happy to share and ready to share their expertise. So that's great about the profession as well.
Well, thank you so much, FB, for coming on today. Pleasure of having you. It's an honor again. And if anyone wants to reach out, he'll put it in the comments, his email, because I'm sure it's a long email.
Yes, I'll do that. I'll put it's optom_my name, which is Fakhruddin at yahoo.com. But I'll put that on the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for your invitation.